great to know and understand and also apply is that there are overlapping terms and concepts in both music and visual art. Okay, so color harmony and visual art is similar to harmony in music. So it's a system of two or more colors in a composition that complement and also unify with each other. So you can see the overlap between the idea of harmony in music and then color harmonies in visual art. And you all will be working with color harmonies, right? So what I'm sharing with you right now is different versions of color harmonies. And some of this, you know, you might be familiar with or remember from your 2D design class. But it's always good to go back and revisit some of those basic principles. It's like the athlete or the performer, right, who does their calisthenics or their acting exercises every day, right? It's always good to return to those basics. And now you will be applying them in a new way to typography and layout, okay? So first of all, we have analogous color. So analogous color is a harmony of hues or colors. And by the way, you can think of the word hues, H-U-S, like as a synonym for color, right? A harmony of colors close to or touching one another on the traditional color wheel. Although they often have different modes of values and saturation. So let's take a look at what analogous colors look like on the color wheel, right? So for example, see how blue, violet, and violet, they're all right next to each other on the color wheel. They're analogous or related. So that's one really good way of building a color harmony. Here's an example of an analogous color harmony applied to type and layout, which you're seeing here with jazz. So that evokes a certain kind of mood or aesthetic. And that will get you to think full range with all the four color properties. So hue, the color itself, its lightness or darkness, and that value range, whether it's full key or low key or high key, the saturation and the overall temperature. But here I've got a couple of color palettes started as well. This one, both of these are more triadic, right? This one I would say is high saturation and relatively high key. This one is much lower saturation and I would say low key overall, okay? But let me show you this neat time-saving device. Let's start a new tab, okay? And I'm going to type in color palette generator. And right down here, I think it's the second or third one, you'll find the link to the Adobe color palette generator. So first, we're going to try an analogous palette. And what's nice is, see how here there's all these bubbles? And I can click on these and like fan them out. Or let's see if I grab that center one, see that? So in this case, I've got a much narrower range for my analogous palette. You see that? Pretty cool. Or I can fan it out and get a wider range with my analogous palette. The other thing I can do is click on that center bubble and, you know, I can go for like a more green analogous palette. I can fan it out and go more from like greens to yellows. I can swing around. Let's say I want a really warm palette. I can swing around and get a really warm palette. And also see how when I fan out, the overall value scale gets darker and darker. But when I pull in, see how I get less and less saturation, and the value scale gets lighter and lighter. see, here's our spine. So we're going to have like a different color for the spine. Notice that with the front album cover, see how I'm extending a 1/4 inch beyond the edge of the board, right? That's so when you cut it, you won't get any unintended white slippers, right, on your album mock-up. And then see right here, these are the tabs. So you're gonna, what's called scoring. Does anybody here know what scoring is? It's not like in baseball when you hit a home run. I mean, it is, but not. Or you can hit a home run in graphic design too. It's like, that's when you really nailed it. So basically you create like a little dent in your paper, and you can do that with the back, the dull side of your X-Acto knife. I'll show you how next week, okay? And that makes it a lot easier to fold. It's sort of like you're doing like a homemade perforation.
To file and then print, and make sure that you double check several things. Okay. First of all, make sure that your printer is going to the Epson C7000, this one right here. Okay. Now there might be one or two other choices, but you want to make sure that it's going to this one, Epson SCP 7000, but you need to check it regardless. Okay, so the next step is, let's go to page setup and click OK. All right, and this is the one that you want to choose. It's 13.5 by 26 inches. Okay, this one right here. Okay. And there's a reason why that has been set on this machine, because that's going to be large enough to print what you want to print. Does that make sense? Okay. So if for whatever reason, this is a just in case, if for whatever reason, when you go to paper size and you don't find that, this is what you can do to create that size in the printer queue. Go down to this choice, manage custom sizes. Okay. And then what you'll do is you'll click this plus sign right here and see how it created a printing size in the menu here, and it's called Untitled. I'm going to rename it. I just clicked on that, and then you can type in whatever you want. So 13.5 by 26 is going to, and I'm just going to also call that copy to differentiate. Now, you can't just type in the name, right? You need to make sure that over here in the paper size, you type in 13.5 for the width, and then 26 for the height. Okay. And what that's going to do is it's going to orient it correctly, so your print will fit on this paper.